I was searching for it, and I wasn't able to
one of the
find
parks.
it at all.
with the kids when they were real young. I was them 4 or 5, Christy was 6 or 7. And they called me up on stage and they do that. And they interviewed Ben afterwards and said, well, you know, what do you think of your man? What does he do? And Ben said, well, he's a CPA. I said, that's a car parking attendant. Car parking attendant, that is what he thought my job was. It's 11 o'clock. Let's get started.
I will take the podium. Introduce myself. My name is Don Woodard. I live in rural Auburn. I'm an elected silver-haired representative for Shawnee County. I'm also the Speaker of the Kansas Silver-Haired Legislature. I'm here today as the Vice Chair of the Shawnee County Advocacy Council on Aging. And literally, I'm the acting chair right now. I am the chairman of the Grants Review Committee, and it's our responsibility to kind of take two roles. We represent you and the taxpayers and try and make sure that their tax dollars are used effectively and efficiently to fund elder services for the seniors in Shawnee County. We do research and investigate the services that we feel are necessary, and that's what we did this year. We went out and we looked at what was available and what was not available and what we thought should be available and what ought to be provided for the seniors. And we got with Community Resource Center and wrote up the request for proposals and sent them out. And we had 13 responses. We held our hearings, looked at the organization's background structure, historically what they've done, and looked at their performance reviews, did some of our own. And we took their requests, which I can go over individually if you want me to. 13 numbers I can give you as far as what they requested. Totaled $608,000. We've gone back and forth on this, and I have about 4 different versions here, but we ended up submitting a letter to you requesting $591,000. And that is what we feel is necessary, given that the Shawnee County population of seniors is trending the national direction. People are living longer. Centenarians are pretty much the norm now. Obituaries are all in the high 90 years of age. People live longer. The baby boomers started retiring in 2006. It's now 2014, and seniors have a lot of needs, and it's growing exponentially. Last year's funding at $541,000 stirred up quite a controversy about the old election that was held about the mill, and we hope we've kind of put that to rest for now. But we know the needs are growing. There are representatives here that can speak on behalf of their own organization, but I took pretty copious notes in the reviews, and I think I'm at least prepared to initially answer any questions you might have. And again, I'll go back and state I can read off what each agency requested if you'd like.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Or you can stick with the $591,000 number we've submitted.
Actually, I think I'd like to hear in
Sure.
detail, if you
Okay.
could.
Sure.
Because
Please
we don't have that information before us.
I didn't
We
think
just
you
have the
did.
letter, Yeah.
But I didn't know if you wanted it. Auburn Community Center requested $11,000. Catholic Charities requested $12,000. Community Action requested $34,900. Community Resource Council requested $20,000. East Topeka Senior Center requested $77,000. Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging requested $50,000. Kansas Legal Services requested $60,000. Let's Help did not submit. LULAC Senior Center requested $56,875. Meals on Wheels, their home-delivered meal program is $153,000. Meals on Wheels Friendship Meals is $75,000. Midland Care did not submit. Pappin's Landing requested $45,840. Rossville Senior Center requested $9,000. Silver Lake Senior Center requested $3,515. Vallejo did not submit. The total is $608,130, and we cut that back to $591. And it was contentious deliberations, but serious.
Could you send us that worksheet? I think that would be helpful for the
Sure.
commissioners, just at commission at
Give it to
smco.us.
Stephanie or Jenna.
Yeah, sure.
We'll make
Just-
copies before I leave.
I'd rather have an electronic copy, to be honest with you. I hate all the paper that we generate.
We'll have CRC send you
Yeah,
one.
just
Give it to
send us,
Betty.
send us a
Betty?
copy.
Okay.
Betty, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that, so, thank you, sir.
Any other questions from me?
Other questions or comments?
If the 591 is not granted, my understanding is that this goes to Community Resource Center. You would meet, confer, debate, and then resubmit your proposal to the commission.
That's right. The council will go back and deliberate once again and look at what was requested and decide where we think the cuts ought to be made. Right now, the major concerns are, of course, health, but transportation. Transportation seems to be the key thing, and that's why we've tried to fund our efforts to get them to coordinate their transportation system, have a one-call dispatch operation. They've got a small grant to help set that up, but the senior centers need to utilize the buses they have in a more expeditious manner. And we think they will if they get this one-call center up and running. I believe it's scheduled to go in the East Topeka Senior Center. At least that's the last word I heard. Other things, of course, I mean, you could go down the list of what's necessary. Rent and utility subsidies are still high on the list. I'm not going to go through the litany of things. You know what they are, but it's growing every year because the senior population is growing, and it's very difficult to go back to them. And I understand your budget constraints because the rest of the political world isn't exactly helping out counties.
No, that's an understatement. Anything else, Commissioner Cook? Yeah, and one thing I hear from seniors more and more is I'm having trouble paying my property taxes and maintaining my house. I hear a lot of people say that, the property taxes now are more than it used to be PITI when I first bought the property. I hear that from a lot of elderly too, and that's kind of the
You could hear it
balance.
from me too.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
But that's-
70 and I've been there 15 years and it's gone up.
Yep, and that's part of the balancing act that we have to.
And I can tell you that we've submitted proposed legislation, but it takes a constitutional amendment in the state of Kansas to get anything changed on taxes.
That's right.
And the likelihood of that happening is like you getting more money.
That's right. Okay, Commissioner Bueller, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, during your performance reviews, was there anything that really stood out to you as a business practice that we're doing less efficiently, or something that?
Well, one
stood out to
thing
you that's
a
doing
trend
more
you see
efficiently?
is seniors are no longer flocking to senior centers.
Okay.
The baby boomers coming up, I won't say they dislike it. They still go to get meals.
Okay.
The meal program is still popular and necessary.
Okay.
The concern that we're seeing is that seniors want social interaction with other people, but not necessarily just other seniors.
Just alone.
They
Yeah.
want to be out in the community
Right.
with children,
Right.
and not necessarily just their own grandchildren.
Yep.
And so we're seeing this trend that's impacting the senior centers in two ways. To get federal assistance, most federal programs require seniors to be shut-ins, homebound. And it's a strict interpretation which we're trying to get changed. But right now, if you decide to go to a Little League game to watch your grandchild, well, you violated the rule and you are no longer homebound, so you've lost all your benefits, which is ridiculous. But the transportation need is still there. We've got buses going all over the place. We're trying to work Department of Transportation. Those are the two biggest trends. I'm sure somebody else could talk on, you know, the rent subsidies and utilities and all those needs. And she
Well-
could talk on air conditioning programs.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a lot of different programs. But I would say the biggest trend we see is the baby boomers' attitudes towards being regarded as senior citizens.
Yeah.
They're not taking it traditionally.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that, I mean, I know transportation has been on the radar and in this discussion with these dollars for a number of years. So it's good to hear, though, that we're hopefully getting to that point where we do have the one call. So the dollars included in here, are there any that are targeted for that transportation, that dispatch?
Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit of the
Okay.
money going to the senior centers is to help them
Is part of
fund this
that.
new one-call transportation system, which is necessary. Now, I think they probably get a lot of their buses directly from DOT.
Right,
It-
right,
It could be shared expense.
right,
But then they've got the expense of insurance, maintenance, and the gasoline.
yeah,
So they've got some big expenses, and some of these senior centers make 6, 7, 8,000 trips a year.
yeah,
So it's not like the buses are sitting idle. So they're using up a lot of gasoline,
right.
and we really feel this needs to be funded.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner? Any other comments from the group? I'll take that as a no. Betty, did you have any comments or questions? Okay. Thank you all for coming. It's certainly appreciated. And we'll take another short break and reconvene at 11:30 to talk about audit finance and the county commission budget. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.